you, bro? Bro, he's not even fucking moving right now, bro.
He bleeding now, right up in the street. His son and daughter crying in the backseat. Hands up on his head, city state of fear. They pump me full of lead, that nigga can't. He opened up his mouth, so they took him out. Right up in his house, damn he can't.
Welcome to Withtime WeCan. I'm your boy, Bree, AKA King Bree. I'm here, I'm your new host. My guy LeBron is in the back of the cameras, you know, doing everything that you can do. Hands is filled, so, you know, we taking this thing to a new level. I'm here with my guy, Ish, AKA EST80, at Blue Dove Entertainment. What's going on, bro?
I'm doing good. How you feeling, man?
I'm straight, man. I want y'all to know that this is like my best friend, so on my first episode, I felt like I wanted to give y'all somebody that knows me and I know them, even though I'm gonna ask some questions that I probably know already.
Right.
And there's gonna be questions that I don't know. So with that being said, man, I'm just gonna open up the floor to Ish. Where you from, man?
It's complicated.
You're
Not too complicated. I'm from Nicetown. I was actually born and raised in Germantown. The Geneva, right off of I guess you would say Happy Hollow area. Right across the bridge, I moved to Nicetown. Nicetown is sort of like Germantown and North Philly in one. So I would say I started there. Okay. And I would say from there, as an adult, I moved to 29th and Lehigh, and from there I've been repping 29th and Lehigh. So.
Shout out to my guys, man. Y'all already know.
You already know.
I'm calling this episode Being the OG because my guy is the oldest one that we all mess with, and I felt like I could get a lot of things from him that I already got, but put it out to the people and put it out to the masses on what he could have did better, or what, you know, he can give me, what he can give the young boys, CY, SS.
But
So what led to you like being, you know, in the streets?
all right. Now I can say coming up, you kind of didn't really have a choice on being in the streets. Of course, when you grow up, you're a young boy and you go out there. You might be like 12, 13, you dig what I'm saying? And at 12, 13, you in junior high.
Okay.
We all know junior high, you starting to get into adult life.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? So you got a choice right there at the decision to make. Well, all my homies was doing street shit. You dig what I'm saying? So, I mean, I would say I had a balance of both, but I really didn't have a reason to go to the streets. I would say I was more bred in the streets.
So did you ever feel like pressure from, you know, the older guys from when you're like 14 to 15 to the 21, 22-year-old guys?
I mean, yeah, it's pressure because you watching them. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
It's pressure because you watching them, and when you coming up as a young boy in the hood, like all we see is hood stuff. We watching videos, you know, and things of that nature, so we glorify the things that look like riches.
Right.
So when we see the old heads, and we see, and we're not talking way up there neither, we talking I'm 12, 13, looking at 16, 17, driving Benzes. You feel me? Pulling up in Lexus. And the attention that they got from the young bucks, you feel me? It's like, that's what you want. That's what we doing. We in the hood. That's where we at. That's the upper echelons of being in the hood. So I would say, yeah, I felt a little pressure to be what they were.
So I'm gonna flip that coin on you. When them doors shut and, you know, you take them fingerprints because of the pressures that you had in the streets from selling drugs, robbing, you know, chasing life. What was it like when you first knew that you wasn't coming back out tonight?
Well, at that time, I felt like it was kind of worth it. See, because I was young.
Right.
My first time going behind them walls, I was 19 years old. And I actually got booked for a situation that I really didn't even do. I was hanging with a homie, you feel me, and we was on the train on the L. Main man was on there, he snatched main man headphones off, pushed him out the train when we came to a stop. But when they stopped the train 3 joints ahead, I hopped out with him and all that, so I got booked with him. So neither here nor there, I ain't gonna snitch, you know how that go.
Right.
So I went behind them walls. So my interpretation of going behind them walls, my first time going, I felt like I was there because I was riding.
Right.
That gave me a different feel. It gave me a feel that I wish I didn't go in like that.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Because I felt like I was riding for my man.
Okay.
So
let's fast forward to 28 years old, being incarcerated. Now by this time, I'm sure you had my niece, Kamaya.
of course.
So let me know how that felt from being, 19 to 28,
Right.
mentally being behind them walls.
Now I was on like my 4th, 5th time going in. So that took me mentally from 28 to about 35.
Okay.
You dig? So I felt in the way.
So was it more of a physical thing in jail, or was it like, what drove you to wanna, leave that alone?
I wanted to be back with my daughter. See, when I was, prior to being locked up, and it's funny that you said that because I was actually locked up at the age 28. And that's actually when I felt like I had sort of an awakening regarding going in and out of jail. You did. My daughter said to me one time, she said, "Daddy, I can't do no more biz with you." You heard the story, you know it.
Right.
"Daddy, I can't do no more biz with you." This is my daughter saying that to me.
And then she's saying, doing a bid, so she's now knowing and comfortable with you doing a bid.
I'm doing the bid, which was, it started to become a bit of the norm, which was something that, to me it was, it was kind of shameful. I could say that. I felt like I was too old to be going in and out of jail, you dig? So, you know what I mean? Like, things change from a teenager to an adult when it comes to incarceration.
Right.
Because when you're a teenager, you think just like all other teenagers. You just want to live life, have fun, and all that shit. When you get to be 28, 29, 30, you staring 30 in the face, your priorities are different. So when your priorities change, the things you lose are more evident when you go behind them bars.
Right.
Because your priorities are still out there. So you realize what you're not doing. It's different. You don't feel like you're just in another moment. You feel like you're taking away, you're away from a moment.
Okay.
You did.
So when you finally came out, how did you feel? Like, did you feel the same, different?
I felt relieved. I felt relieved because I felt like I had a goal. And my goal for the first time ever was to not go back.
Okay.
That's the first time I said that to myself. I said, that's it. Like, now I've been back since, but for petty situations. We move around, do shows here and there, go do things. But never for like a serious situation. Just, overnight situations. But when it's like, but even that stopped years ago. You dig? So, yeah. To answer your question, going in at that age right there, it really makes you feel like you are pausing your life.
Now, keeping on the OG situation, we both got a nephew right now that's, sitting behind the walls.
Right.
And we don't know if it's gonna be good or bad, we don't know. So when you get that ring on the phone and you talking to a 25-year-old that you walk these same shoes and you walk this same path, what's the one thing you can tell him to, just get him through that day?
Think about yesterday and what you didn't do right. You see, because when you in them drones, you gotta think about bettering yourself, and at the time that you bettering yourself, a lot of times people gonna think this shit cat, but this shit not cat, bro. Like, this shit real. Like, you gotta focus on you gotta center yourself when you're behind them walls because you don't got nobody else. So you gotta be comfortable with, and you know,
Right.
feel me? You gotta be comfortable with discipline.
Yeah.
If you can't control yourself, how you gonna control anything around you? So that alone is the first thing I would tell somebody at 25. And we all know that our enough been behind, been incarcerated. If his mind frame was right then, he wouldn't be back again. It took me a couple times.
Right.
You did? So my mind state would say, think about where you at. At 25, think about where, if you got kids, which he does, think about where you at. Because that shit right there is what you always gotta think about when you leave that joint. Cause the moment you forget how that shit feel, you gonna be right back.
Right. And it's crazy because I know the feeling, you know. It's just, it's hard for me to talk to, like, my nephew especially. It'd be easier if I had just to talk to, you know, a random person, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's harder because, like, I don't want to see him in the same situation that I was in or you in. But, you know, that kind of made me stronger and kind of made me know what I had to do better because, I mean, I always say this, that around the time that I got booked, I was just starting to want to change.
Okay.
But the minute I wanted to change, everything gets snatched from you. The rug comes from under you. So I just take that as you gotta really want it. Like, you gotta be stripped, pretty much butt naked, for lack of a better words, so you can actually see what's going on. Because I tell you that all the time, like, it kind of feels like you're dead. Like, and people that's been incarcerated know I don't want to use it like that. Oh, you feel like you're dead, but at the end of the day,
You do.
like, you're out of sight, out of mind.
Listen, when I was booked, right, my last time being booked, I ain't a super spiritual boy, you know me. You feel me? But I am spiritual. You did?
Right.
So, like, I read the book, and I'm just keeping it all behind. I read the book of Job. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that book, but
Right.
main man got everything taken from me in that joint.
Right.
Feel me? He was a rich boy, and the Most High took everything from him, like, you did?
Right.
And his wife started cursing the Most High. He told his wife, like, you a fool. I mean, he took everything, his cattle, you know,
Right.
cattle was guap around that time.
Yeah, I know the story.
He took
Kids,
everything, kids, everything. His mom his wife started cursing him. He never cursed the Most High. And in return, the Most High gave him everything times, like, he main man was up. You did?
Right.
So what I feel is, even though you looking at that door of change, if there's anything behind you that's not revealed in the light, it has to be revealed for your change to be possible. Everything
Right.
has to come out. That's just life. That's just the way things go. I've been through it. We all been through it. Anybody that go from caterpillar to butterfly, been through it. You gotta experience a struggle before a change. So with my story on that, with young boys that go in them Jones, as an old head, whenever you experience a struggle, don't think of that struggle, bro. It's like something in front of there that you finna go to. So you gotta think about that, because every decision got a fork in the road. That's another thing as men we gotta understand. Every decision got a fork in the road. Every decision got a fork in the road. You gotta choose every decision. There's never a one-dimensional decision.
Right.
You
Right.
dig? So in jail, it's the same thing. As men, we all created to be one way. We have to be that way. Tunnel vision to our dreams.
So, as of now, you know, we done been through a pandemic. We done seen all kind of things go on within the last year or two.
Mm-hmm.
What can you say still motivate you to want to keep pressing forward?
I think the pandemic gave people a chance to see what it feel like to slow their money down.
Okay.
when you slow yourself down during a time like that and you forced to not spend money, you see it stack. During that pandemic, people had a chance to actually see themselves financially because it starts there. You're not judged in a moment of comfort, but in a moment of discomfort.
Right.
And when you take finance to some people, it can make you uncomfortable.
So if you can give me just one thing to drive you every day, every time you wake up, what's that?
To never feel like if things slow up, I'm stuck.
Okay. So I had another question about just like, not mass incarceration, but just the system by itself. It's a lot of people that's in jail that's dealing with mental issues. And back in, I would say the 90s, from what I know, like in the 90s I was a little young, but still, like,
it was
I
deep
grew up
though.
around people.
Yeah.
But you had mental health places that these people could go.
Yeah.
And from, I would say 2010 to 2020,
it was crazy.
all of those things are going now.
Yeah.
So they're sending these people
Prison.
to prison.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me, it's guys that, or females that, don't have the money for their medication, don't have the money for their insurance,
Yes.
and all this kind of stuff. I'm not making no excuses.
It's
I'm
unfortunate.
just saying, we see a guy on the TV that's walking up to the police with a knife in his hand. Like, knowing me, knowing you, knowing LeBron, we already know we ain't fucking supposed to do no shit like that.
Right.
So obviously, if this is happening, this guy got a mental issue.
Right.
But when you lock him up, even if they sentence him, he do all the things he's supposed to do, and he's supposed to be in programs and stuff like that. Do you think that in the prisons that it's enough help for the mentally ill?
No. There's no in my opinion, there's no psychiatrist that's gonna have enough time to deal with you. See, in those jail systems, their workload is crazy. I was married before. I was with a social service director.
Okay.
And her caseload was maybe 7 to 8. Well, actually, she was a director, so it doubled. So it was like 14, 15 clients. Things were hectic for her. And we talking about a social worker, 2 per shift,
Right.
for a jail.
And not even 2 per shift, 2 for that one shift.
Yes.
Because by 4 o'clock, they gone.
They gone.
So ain't nothing going on.
Ain't nothing going on. And there's only one director, and it's not really a director, it's a lead. It's considered a lead. Now, with that being said, if you're not a director, you don't have to have a master's.
Okay.
All right, that's a fact. So now, you don't have to have a master's, which means your mind state is different. You didn't chase anything. So you're just a female who's working a job, just like anyone else, just
Right.
like a CO, just like anything else who's coming in there working.
Not
now,
able to help.
your caseload crazy. You got a person who's mentally unstable, who's coming in front of her, who has to go through a prep situation to see if he's mentally or not.
Right.
Before he move on to the next phase, which is getting a chance to see a psychiatrist.
Not to mention the psychiatrist probably looked at his charges, probably see that this guy's aggressive,
Guess how?
or he a murderer,
How
or
about that?
anything, and that could change the whole health process.
Guess how many psychiatrists it is per shift?
Maybe 1.
1. Guess how many per jail?
1.
1. Guess how many per region? Oh, you had it right so far.
Wow.
1.
Yeah.
Yeah, look it up. So that psych has to bounce from jails and has to make an appointment, just like any other psychiatrist, because they get a contract. So they're their own entity. They're like piecework. So they go where the money is. So they pop up, they don't, they don't.
Right.
So if you was to ask me to sum the story up, I think that when guys go into a prison system with mental situations, no. They're not taken care of properly. The workload is too big. They're coming in, getting them right out of there real fast. They're speedballing them.
Right.
So these guys are going back to the block with mental issues that they thought they were going to get a chance to talk about. And they're putting themselves in programs like anger management and this, that, and third, where you just got to sign.
And do some homework or do a few papers. And then now you're back on the street. Never got the help you needed.
You just read a bunch of books. That ain't.
And you got a felony now, so the job market is going to be a little bit more futile.
And not to mention you crazy. You shot out. So it's like you not thinking about, first of all, a guy that shot out for the most part is not going to have credentials.
Right.
These is the things that has to be taught to these guys. Not coming in and dealing with your emotions only. You have to be, if they're in their mental, then before they get a fast course to the streets on the way out, they got to get that they whole John. If that's the case, they whole big. Because it gives them a chance to develop the tools, because you know they're slower than everybody else.
Right.
It gives them a chance to develop the tools that they need on the way out, which is where to get your credentials, how to get it, you know what I mean? And how to fill out an application. Because you're just throwing them into the wolves like, all right, make it, and just be good. Come on now. They don't have tools.
So what could you, if you could, change about, if it's anything, like, I mean, it could be one thing, it could be multiple things, but what is something you saw, not at the age of 19, at the age of 28, 29, that you could look now and see that it's a serious problem and you would change if you could?
From within the system?
No, from right where you are right now. What would you change
within the system?
within the system?
Okay.
I mean, it's tough.
It's
Like,
tough.
I told LeBron, me personally, like I said, that messes with me a little bit with the mental thing and just, giving a dude 2 to 4 years and just sending them back on the street. Like, you don't have no reentry, you don't have anything to help you succeed. So you're gonna come home and probably, get with your kid's mom or another girl or whatever because you don't have anything. So now, that's a problem in itself because you have to rely on somebody as a man. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a support system. You don't have a mom, dad, sisters and brothers and family to, keep you on the right track or just give you a one-up. Here's an apartment. Here goes some money. You know what I'm saying? Like what could you change at all? I mean, I know that's hard because
in my opinion, I think they should be, instead of them only having to report to a probation officer or somebody that's going to oversee them, they have to report to a temp agency. Directly to a temp agency that works with the jails.
That's deep. I ain't never
If
heard
you
that.
can put guys on work release within the jail system, and make them go to work and go back to the jail,
right?
Then you can send them out and force them to the money.
Right, because you can force me to come to the PO office.
Why can't you force them to the money? So that means look out for these temp agencies, which would do good for the temp agencies as well. Set them up with home health aid jobs. That's easy.
Right.
With their family members.
Right.
Get them a social worker that's assigned to their case, not only a probation officer. Get them a social worker as well. Someone that's going to continuously deal with them that they have to, in my opinion, go see at least once every 2 months. And report how they doing every 60 days. Because if you get a social worker's not going to hound you. They're going to make you feel good.
They're going
to have outlets for you and things to do.
Right.
Give them a social worker.
You don't feel like this is still a police officer that you got to report to.
Yes. Give them a social worker, give them a probation officer, give them a temp agency right out the door. That means they go into the money, they go into support, and they go into structure. all in the same day.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Like I've never sat there and actually thought about that. That's kind of that's a curveball.
It is. It's difficult.
Because if you can do that, like you said, you can, a supervision fee you gotta pay, and taking the urine, like, you should be able to have to report to a job because you'll eventually get a job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And with a job comes, like, confidence.
Yes.
So now you know I can do it.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of kids out here that just think it's only one way out, or basketball, or on a fucking microphone, or selling drugs.
As a man, knowing that check coming, it's a whole different feeling. That's the difference between a man and a boy, in my opinion. Knowing that next check coming. I think all men should have that. Yeah.
Hey man, I mean, this was a great conversation, man, and I appreciate you for coming on.
Oh
Time
man, you already know it's been a pleasure, man.
Ish, aka EST80, Blue Dove Entertainment. So, that's what it is, man. Withtime WeCan, another episode, being the OG, with my OG.
Facts.
And we out of here, man.